back to another episode of Everyday Whiskey. I'm Dan.
And I'm Mike, and on this week we are doing our Glenlivet special. But before we dive into things, I want you guys to do 3 things for us, and actually I want you to do a 4th. If you like this content, please like the video. If you wouldn't mind sharing this with all your friends, family, and whiskey lovers, that would also help. Please drop a comment down below of anything you want to see us do, drink, or partake in.
People have done it, and we have done it.
Yes, it's true. And last but not least, subscribe to the channel so you'll stay up to date with all of our notifications.
Click the little bell
Hit
thing.
the little bell. Yeah, that's cool too. Anyway, back to the Glenlivet special. We're going to jump right into things here. We've got 12 Founders, 14, 15 Caribbean, 3, 4, 5.
5 whiskeys.
5
All right, so
very prominent Glenlivet whiskeys that we're going to do back
We're going to talk about 6. We're drinking 5.
Yes.
Obviously, everyone who's watching this probably should have, at some point, have heard of the Glenlivet.
Yeah.
And the product you most likely are most familiar with is their 12-year single malt. It's one of the most attainably entry-level priced single malts on the market at $60 a bottle. And here's a hint. It's not here. There's a reason it's not here. We'll get to that in a minute because I found something much cooler that's the same age statement.
It is the Glenlivet Illicit Still.
The Glenlivet was licensed in 1824 by founder George Smith. The Glenlivet Illicit Still is an homage to whiskey smuggling of Scotland back in the early 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, what George Smith did, every Scotch you would have in the early 1800s was all single malt. It was all made in copper stills, and you would have to smuggle your still from Bothy. Bothy is a secret still site.
Mm-hmm.
From Bothy to Bothy until you got to a location where you felt like the law enforcement was not going to find you and steal your whiskey. So where did George Smith settle? The Glenlivet Valley.
Yep.
Ding ding, you can figure out why they call it the Glenlivet. It's from the valley it's located in. There's really nice spring water that flows down from the mountains. Makes really good fucking whiskey.
Yes, it does.
This guy's a smart man. So, without further ado, let's get into drinking.
Cool.
So this is the Illicit Still.
Yep.
We've both had this disclaimer already, and I think this is a vast improvement on the original 12-year.
Yes.
But I will say one thing, that the 12-year is the whiskey that started it all. It's the flagship style. It's fruity. It's sweet. It's what Speyside whiskey is supposed to be. It starts off in European oak and then finishes in American oak. This Illicit Still is essentially the same build, except it's an homage to the original recipe, and it's basically the bottle shape is the original bottle shape.
Yep.
As the early back, they used the oldest bottle they could find. It may not be the first bottle. You probably just used some sort of ornate artisanal glass.
Probably.
But either way, the Illicit Still, essentially there's not much different to it, except there's a cooler story behind it. It's named after its illegal beginnings, the Illicit Still, and it's named after the founding and the origin of the actual brand.
Yes.
So that's all I got. We're going to drink it.
Now I like this one. It's really good. I get a lot of spice on it.
Spice up front.
Very
spicy
spicy up front. Chocolatey on the back end, which is really unique and not typical of your Scotch.
It's not intrusive either. Like it never gets aggressive. Like it gets
No.
a little. There's this tingliness on the tip of your tongue when you first drink it.
Yeah, a little bit.
Which I like though. It's cool because there's not a lot of Scotches that do that to me.
No.
It's got a little smoke, but then the palate completely kind of softens up, and it's chocolate and cherries, light fruit. It's really nice.
Yeah.
This is I swear, like this is a perfect beginner Scotch to me.
Very well. I would agree. Because it doesn't have those intense peat characteristics of like some real heavy Scotches, and that's usually what turns people off a Scotch is the peat. Not all Scotches have that, but it is a very predominant flavor. So when people taste it and say, "Oh, I don't have the palate for Scotch," that's usually the flavor they're talking about.
Well, three of your biggest Scotch regions are smoke bombs: Islay, Northern Highlands, and Orkney Islands. So, but also, like I said, Speyside Scotch is the perfect beginner Scotch.
I agree completely.
It's so mundane and it's so much fun to play with because the cast finishing is really prevalent. It's like, obviously, Islay and Orkney Islands and Northern Highlands. And Speyside is part of the Highland region, but its flavor is so isolated in its fruitiness and its sweetness that it's very different from the lowlands and highlands.
Yep, it's just super light and easy.
But all right, on to the next one, Mike. We got what, the Founders Reserve?
Yes. So next up, Founders Reserve. We have featured this quite a few times on our channel, and we also both recommend this as your beginner Scotch. However, we're now introducing
the Illicit
12 Illicit Still into that
I'd still
lineup.
say for price, this still should be.
Yeah, price definitely. The other thing is this is a limited edition, so it's not always going to be easy to find. The Founders, though, well, you know what? This will be a good chance for us to compare them side by side.
I think it is. It's good.
Which one truly should be your better beginner whiskey?
So let's. So we never actually have gone into what the Founders, the deal with it is. We never gone into the back history of it, why it exists. So Mike, I think you've got some information for the people out here. What do we know about Founders?
Sorry, I'm just trying to concentrate on the pour.
You peasant! You spilled my drink! My drink!
So,
you spilled my drink!
The Founders Edition is very straightforward. Its first fill is in American oak, but there's no sherry involved with this one. So it's just regular American oak as a first fill. It's made with water from, as Dan said, the mountain streams in the Glenlivet region, which makes a very excellent liquid. And then it's also aged in select traditionally aged oak casks after its first fill in the American oak. This creates a not very unique, but just a very subtle
dialed back Scotch.
Yeah, there's not much to it.
Very soft.
It is soft. This is why we recommend it to
soft
people
like Charlotte
as their very first Scotch.
Yeah, no, and like to me, like if you go from drinking
super caramel.
Yeah, super caramel. If you go from this one to this one's way less. Not even like not that that's like aggressive. This is more dialed back than that. It's very soft, very clean, very easy. There's no burn,
no spice, no tingle on the tip of your tongue. A little bit more citrusy.
Yeah, but that's Space Ice.
Light.
Citrus.
Yeah.
Citrus, like so, Space Ice. If you're gonna go with like a blank statement, citrus is the biggest flavor profile that you're gonna get.
By far. I like it. I still think this is your best one to start with. This is such an easy way to get into Scotch.
For $45, this is a great single malt.
Yeah, the price point,
seriously,
the flavor, the palate, the nose. I don't know why I said flavor and palate, same thing.
But yet, this is not my favorite Glenlivet by far. My favorite Glenlivet is on the table.
Is it?
Easily on the table.
Oh, I know which one.
Yeah, it was a housewarming gift.
Yes.
Okay.
And no, it's not the little sugar.
On to the next one. On to the next one. All right, next.
14.
We're going to France. The Glenlivet 14-year Cognac finish.
We're going to hang out in France for a little bit, actually.
Yep, the next two.
Yeah.
All right, and that's what the bottle looks like. Okay, every bottle's the same for Glenlivet. They just changed the color.
Except for this one.
Except for that one. That's the only one that's different. And the Enigma. No, it's plastic. Same cork. Okay, so the 14-year is where things start to get a little fun.
Just because I don't want to go too much.
So things start to get fun here. We got a Cognac Cask finished Scotch, which is really cool. Imparts some raisin, imparts some citrus notes. It's a 1-liter bottle.
I was going to say, this one's fatter.
He's a honker. All right, so Cognac Cask will impart raisin and citrus.
Yes.
Essentially, Cognac is from France, so these are French Cognac casks. So the 14-year starts in bourbon and sherry casks, and then is finished for 6 months in a Cognac cask, which that's where some of the flavor starts to develop. So this was the brainchild of Bill Smith Grant. Grant family in Deutsch. It's a big name. He is the grandson of George Smith, who founded the Glenlivet. This was his brainchild.
Mm-hmm.
He loved cognac, so wanted to make a Cognac Cask finished Scotch. Voila. Okay, there's a 14-year. That's really all I got.
Age 14 years.
Age 14 years. I love this Scotch. It's so good.
The nose isn't far off from the Founders.
It's heavier, though.
Oh, wait. They never listed it. Is that NAS, no age statement, on the Founders? Because they never listed that.
No age statement.
Yeah.
It's probably roughly 7 to 9 years. It's heavier, though. There's more. But look at the color.
You can tell by the coloring.
It's just the barrel tone. It's just, barrel. It's just barrel exposure. The nose is very bourbony.
It is. But I get a lot of cognac and sherry on this one.
To me, it's all raisin. All raisins and fig. It's like all raisins and fig. It's a big cognac bomb, for sure.
Very reminiscent of notes of cognac. A little bit of sherry in there. The bourbon's probably more on the nose, honestly.
Yeah, the bourbon's on the nose.
To me, the bourbon is more on the nose.
It's straight up cognac after that. But again, the Glenlivet, nothing in their lineup for the most part is like very aggressive. It's very dialed back. It's very smooth. It's very subtle.
Yep.
It's very approachable. So that's what I love about Glenlivet is that every bottle they have, every product they have is approachable. Nice job. Nice job.
All right, so we'll just keep on trucking here. Next, we got the Glenlivet 15-year.
We need to rinse now since we're getting into the cask.
Yeah. So the Glenlivet 15-year actually kind of ties in very well with the 14-year. So as Dan said, the 14-year, it's aged in it is aged, in ex-Cognac cask and sherry.
We'll go with
and
finished. We'll use the term
finished, not aged.
We'll
Finished.
use the term finished.
So the 15-year is similar. However, they use the same casks, which are French Limousine Oak.
That's a badass name for a
It is.
barrel. That is really cool.
They use those casks before they are filled with wine and or cognac. So technically, you're not going to get those cognac notes or any like
they're using
wine or
fresh
sherry
barrels.
notes. Yeah, they're
using
just
fresh
fresh French Limousine Oak barrels.
Right. So to simplify this, basically what they're doing, it's starting off in your oak barrel, and then it's moving to a first fill barrel.
Yes.
A first fill French barrel, not a first fill oak barrel, because obviously Glenlivet also makes a 12-year in a first fill, and they make a first fill Madeira. Just to throw that in there as a little bonus. But that's what Mike's saying.
Yeah, and the reason they use these French Limousine Oak barrels is because there's the wood that they're made out of has a very low density profile, and that allows the whiskey to seep very, very, very deeply into those staves and into that barrel. And in return, you come out with a very spicy whiskey. That's where the spicy
water
comes from. Now, again, spice doesn't mean heat. It's not going to burn your mouth. It's just spicy. Those are just the notes you get. Spices. As we always say, like baking spices, shit like that. It's a really cool bottle. And it's aged 1 year longer than...
And like I said, all of these are pretty affordable. So I'm just going to go in price order here, just so everyone knows here. The Founders is $45 roughly a bottle. The Illicit Still is going to be $75 a bottle.
Oh, it smells so good.
Your Carribean Cask is going to be about $55 a bottle, which we're doing last because it's rum finished, and that's very, very... It just coats your palate very early. The 14-year goes between $80 and $90 a bottle, and the 15-year is $90 to $100.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all super attainable prices for single malt Scotch.
15 at $90 is...
Yeah, and this is, okay, hint, not even hint, I'm fucking telling you. This is my favorite product that Glenlivet makes, is their 15-year.
I like it.
I think it's
really good.
The best tasting whiskey for the best price. Obviously, they have their 21 years, and they have some really acclaimed stuff.
Yeah.
I think this is for the money, for bang for your buck, this is what you want to get.
Yeah.
If you don't want to get the base level 12-year, if you want to get the Founders or something like that.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. I love the 15. It's very delicate. It's light. A little bit of
It's light, but it's got
notes.
some heaviness. It's black tea.
Yeah, black tea on it, on the palate, which I like.
Some citrus, which is really nice. And the nose, once again, Glenlivet is never going to really have a nose that, like blows you back in your seat.
No.
Never going to happen. They're all very, very subtle, very soft, but also very, obviously, they're very deep. How the hell do I say this? I had something I wanted to say in my head, and then it didn't come out of my mouth. They're not very complex in a good way. I'm not saying it's simple. It's just it's very attainable for someone who doesn't drink whiskey or for someone who's been drinking whiskey for years.
They're
It's
simple,
people
easy
pleasers.
drinking scotches. Honestly, the whole line of Glenlivet is a great place to start for scotch. It really is.
Seriously.
It's super easy to down.
And once again, like this is like us not pulling punches. This is 100% our opinion. Like
Yep.
I would not own this much Glenlivet if I didn't think it was worth drinking.
No, yeah.
And I would be lying to you if I told you there's bottles on the shelf behind me that I wish I didn't own.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you got buyer's remorse.
Yeah.
You buy something because you think it's cool, and then it's an awesome package, and it's a dog shit whiskey in the actual bottle.
Yup.
But that is not Glenlivet. Glenlivet is understated. They under promise and they over deliver.
Yes, 100%. All right. So from here, we're gonna hit up the Carribean Cask. I gotta get close because this is the tiny bottle.
Things are gonna get weird now.
As you guys know, everything in this channel we fund ourselves, so we can't always buy everything.
Yeah.
Sometimes we gotta get some small.
So thank you for. I forgot who gave me the nip, but either way. But sidebar, make a pina colada with this.
Yeah.
It is the shit. Like seriously, slightly smoky pina colada.
Caribbean Cask is really straightforward, honestly. There's not much to this guy.
That worked out great.
Wow, I thought that was going to break all over the ground.
I really didn't think about what I was doing until it was halfway to the camera.
So, They basically just take regular Glenlivet oak barrels, they season them with Caribbean rum. What does that mean? That means they import rum from the
It
Caribbean.
means it's from an island.
Yeah, and it doesn't say which island. I wish it did tell us which rum, but they import the Caribbean rum to Scotland from the Caribbean. They take the rum out of the barrels, put it into their oak barrels, let it sit and season the wood, then they empty those, and then they fill them with their Scotch. And that's how they get the rum characteristics in it, because they use their very own oak barrels to temporarily house some Caribbean rum.
I believe it's cruising.
Is it?
I don't know. I feel it's all right.
It's weird when you said that, because I smelt it at the same time, and I could smell, like, cruising and rum.
I don't know. It doesn't say. It doesn't say. I'm gonna go out on a whim here, and I'm gonna say it's got to be one of the bigger houses.
It's got to be.
This is Pernod Ricard. So whoever doesn't know, obviously, if you're not in the industry, you don't know this. Pernod Ricard is the importer for the Glenlivet. They also do Malibu, Absolute, Jameson, big names.
Yeah,
people have heard of
big
people have heard of their products. Jefferson's, Redbreast,
Yellow Spot,
all the
Green
spots.
Spot.
We can go on for days what they do. They have a lot of big brands.
Aberlour.
I don't believe Cruzan is one of their
I
products,
don't think so.
but I believe they're the ones who lended them the barrels, and that's just a guess. This is a complete guess, so if I'm wrong, please correct me, but don't, crucify me for it. All right, I've had this Scotch before. You say what you think, because you haven't had it before.
Wow. It's super light.
Super light. Lighter than the Founders.
Yeah,
Which
this
is saying something.
Insanely light and delicate. I still get the black tea like you do with kind of
The
all
15?
these and a little bit of spice.
Well,
However,
A little bit of teabag action.
yeah, definitely some tea bag.
A little bit of
The
teabag
rum.
going on here. The rum doesn't come through till the very, very, very
Yeah.
end. It's like this
There's
weird
a
little
slight-
sugary sweetness.
And that's what it's a rum kind of sweetness. Rum is made from sugar cane, for those who don't
Yeah.
know, so it's naturally always going to be a little sweet. And that's what you kind of get at the end.
Yeah, this is like
It's really well balanced.
yeah, it's well balanced, and to be completely honest, and like I said, not pulling punches here. This is the most underwhelming out of
Yeah,
all of these.
there's really nothing to it.
Just because this is a very specialized bottle.
Mhm.
Like you buy this not to drink. Obviously, I hope you drink this on the rocks, and it's just fine to drink on the rocks. But this is cocktail.
Yeah,
in mind.
I could definitely see this making a really good pina colada. It's so
Yeah.
light, it's so delicate, it's a little fruity,
Yeah.
but it's also got that sweet. This would blend
Yeah.
so well in a pina
But
colada.
like I said, and to me, in my thinking about the producer's mind, there's no shot they were not thinking about cocktails when they made this Scotch.
No.
They never. I don't think there's a conversation where they're like, this is going to be drank on the rocks or neat or whatever, and then maybe something. No, they're gonna be like, someone's making a cocktail out of this, and we hope
this
they
is
drink
a
it
cocktail
neat.
Scotch for sure.
That's what it is.
Through and through.
And there's no aggressive notes. There's nothing that's over the top or
No.
anything, so that it's gonna be malleable for a cocktail. That's all I'm gonna say about it. And it's priced correctly.
I like it.
I like
think
it too.
It's
It's
good.
good.
However, I'm a big fan of more complex scotches.
And
I
this is
like
not.
heavy. I like peat. So Glenlivet, they produce very, very, very great products. However, they're just not my palate. So that's why the Carribean Cask is kind of just meh for me, because it's delicate. It's it's a sipper. It's a summertime sipper. A
Yeah.
real good summertime sipper.
Yeah, exactly. If you want
Real good.
a bottle of scotch, if there was such a thing as drinking a bottle of scotch on the beach, this is probably
This
it.
would be as close as you'll get.
And I enjoy peaty scotch, but this is actually more my palate.
Yes.
The Glenlivet is more tailored to what I drink, because I do like to kick back and drink scotch. When I want to think, I drink bourbon. But
Yeah.
when I just want to
Relax.
relax
Yeah.
once in a while, I like scotch just because, and I like the Glenlivet just because it's something I don't have to think about. It's very delicate, it's very easy, it's very light. You can drink it any time of the year.
Mhm.
Amazing brand, amazing people. A thank you to our buddy Will, who gave us a bunch of information for this episode.
Yes.
Which I believe some of it came directly from Scotland today.
I can't. I have no responsibility in that part.
Yeah, no.
That was all you.
That was cool. That was super cool.
Mhm.
But yeah, everybody who, like I said, I feel like this is one of those brands where we're not doing an obscure brand here, so it's not
No.
have you heard of this man?
Yeah, no, it's not obscure at all.
Anybody who hasn't had any of these, please go out and buy one. try the Founders if you're just getting the Scotch.
Yep.
If you are a fan of the 12-year, drink the Illicit Still. It blows it out of the water.
I believe most of these, except for this one, obviously, you can get in the
Every
minis
time.
too.
Yeah, all of them are available minis.
Yeah, so if you're not too sure, pick up a mini. Try it.
But yeah, like, without us rambling too much, the simple way to say this is, besides one thing, is please like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell if you want to get notifications every week on when we're posting videos. We do it every Friday at 9 o'clock in the morning, so tune in. But buy Glenlivet. It seriously it's an amazing brand. They make an amazing product. They are understated and they over-deliver.
Yes.
It's simply the simplest way to say it, I think.
Yep.
So, Mike, let's get the fuck out of here.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.